Thank you, everybody. This is the Hudson Public Utilities Commission meeting, Tuesday, May 12th. Start with roll call. Jace,
Hassan,
here.
Quorum, Paul,
Here.
Nolan,
Here.
Kreisel,
Here.
T. Winkle,
Here.
and Wecken.
Here.
Okay.
All right. Jace. First thing, Mary, welcome to the group. So I just wanted to say welcome. We're glad to have you here and have a representative from here. So welcome.
Thank you all very much.
Absolutely.
May have some questions though.
All right. Well, let's get into the schedule here. So let's just jump in right away. So we're going to start by approval of the April 14th minutes. We got a motion for that.
Move to approve. This is Joyce.
Got a
Second
second?
by Kurt.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Or
raise your hand.
There we go. That works too. All right. Let's move on. Number 3, discussion and possible action on the construction of the utility service center and storage building. So I had an opportunity to talk to Kip about this just briefly. And Kip, do you want to go ahead and just kind of give everybody kind of what your thoughts were as far as direction on this?
Okay, so we brought the proposals last month to the commission. It did not pass, so I brought it back today. I'd like to put it up for discussion to kind of get some direction on what you're thinking. What direction do you want to go with this? Things of that nature. As you can see on the call are Brian Hines and Tyler Westfield. They are the from EA Architects that designed the building that we had talked about. So I had them join us tonight. Just if you had questions, about why the cost was what it was, or why the proposals were what they were. If you had any construction questions, things of that nature. So I guess I'm just gonna toss it out to you guys, that you commission members, to ask questions, and then I would like us to try to figure out what direction we want to go with this. Is there a dollar amount that you're looking to hit? What are you looking at for out of this building? We've discussed, my thoughts on this, things like that, but I'd like to kind of hear what everybody was before I just keep kind of throwing darts at the wall and hoping that we hit something. That's kind of why I'm looking for you guys to give us some direction on this. So whoever wants to start, if you have questions for me, for Brian, for Tyler, throw them out.
So this is Kurt here. I'll start out because I probably was part of the major proponent against that amount of money. And I guess the question to the architects or designers is, why possibly is it that much money? I own a 60 by 120 building, and I could duplicate it for about $120,000. Why are we talking 680?
I guess I can start. I'm obviously not familiar with your 60 by 120, but in this case, the building we are doing here is
it's a Lester's Pole building.
Okay. So, I mean, the project that we were asked to complete is a metal building, so not a wood style pole construction building. And it's heated, it's insulated, it's fully plumbed with a trench drain because we're, we have vehicles that are warming in there, and they'll have ice and slush in the winter. So, and then because we're doing vehicle storage in a commercial facility, a commercial vehicle building, we have a full sprinkler system in there. So the building ends up being, you know, less of your backyard storage building and more of a, you know, closer akin to an office building in some ways, because it has all of those same parts. So, like I said, I'm not familiar
So
with your storage building.
why is it sprinkled? 12,000 square feet is the request for that, right? Why are we
No,
sprinkling this?
No, 5,000 square feet is where this kicked in because we're storing commercial vehicles in interior space.
Okay,
So, right, and we have a 7,200 square foot building here. We weren't really close to that 5,000 threshold. And when we worked with KIP on the program, getting down below that in order to omit that wasn't a reality for what the program was asking for. The number of vehicles, the amount of storage, and the long-term usability of this facility was asking for more square footage.
Anything else to add to that, Kurt?
well, I mean, I'm in the commercial, I own a commercial building. It's not my backyard storage. I
Okay.
promise you, whoever just said that, the architect that just said that, I don't know where 5,000 square feet comes from. I'm not doubting you. That's your industry. But I also own a commercial building, and I have everything I've ever learned is that under 12,000 square feet is not required to be sprinkled. But regardless, we're talking about a steel building. I don't know where that came from because I'm pretty sure this started as a pole building. You know, I don't know where to go with this because if I had to throw out a number, which is what KIP requested to begin with, I'd be in the 300 range. I'm not in the 680 range.
Dave, did you have something else you wanted to add into there? I know that we talked about, I know cost was obviously the driver that, you know, a lot of us were concerned about. Me personally, I guess I kind of thought, you know, 380, 400 range too. But I don't have any experience in commercial building either, but did you have something you wanted to add too, Dave?
Yeah, again, this is David. How can we bring the cost down? If we look at building a $500,000 building or a $400,000 building, how can we bring the cost down?
Yeah, so you know, the building we have is you know, there's probably some ways to make the building we designed and bid out a little bit cheaper, but the biggest way to make it cheaper is to make it smaller. I mean, the bids that we got in were not out of the ordinary. It was nothing that surprised us. I didn't look at all the bids and say, oh, gee, these guys are twice what they should be. I mean, this is what the cost of construction is today based on the bidding climate. You know, we don't control that. So, the easiest way to make the building cheaper and the most effective way to make cuts is always to take out square footage. That affects every phase of the project, every part of the work in a little bit. So we take 1,000 square feet off. That's a big chunk of that money because it's a 7,200 square foot building. That's always much more effective than just saying, well, let's go with a cheaper metal panel, because yes, we can do that. It's a lighter gauge, it'll wear out faster, you know, but that saves a penny in our example here.
Now, giving that thought, I know that we had, you know, like Kurt just said, you know, he's got a, you know, wood pole storage. What would be a typical cost guesstimate between going wood or going metal like what's in the plans? And then what are we talking about for longevity? Like how long could that potentially last?
So I would say, based on what, our estimate would be, going to a wood building could save us 30 or 40% on the building shell itself. And so that is that's not a large number. That's maybe $40,000 in our scenario here, approximately $40,000. Because we're still going to have the sprinkler, we're still going to have the doors that we have, we're still going to have the heat and the insulation and the site work, and so we can go to a less expensive building type. It is not going to make the cost half of the current budget.
Okay.
And the longevity of a metal building is going to last longer. I don't know exactly what the comparison would be. It's maintenance and upkeep, and they're both can last a long time if they're well maintained. That's the
Sure.
the deal. But Kip asked us, during this process to look at doing a metal building, and we believed we could come in right around the budget with that, and we pursued that avenue, and I guess in reality came pretty close. Other than we had some unforeseen costs with getting utilities and things into the site. So, but what we're trying to establish here, I guess, is what we really want to meet. And if 600 is not that number, then what is our marching orders, Kip's marching orders, and how can we help you guys get what you really need on this site?
Okay. Pat, did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, yeah, part of what's bothering me isn't just the money, the cost, but we still have the cart in front of the horse, this being the cart and the horse being the wastewater treatment plant. We don't have the wastewater treatment plant deal wrapped up and nailed down. I don't know. And of course, the world is turned upside down, and I don't know, maybe we'll have to use this money for the wastewater treatment plant, or if we had that wrapped up and nailed down, which is, it'd be different, which is, it's a kind of separate issue. But if we had everything wrapped up with that and tied up and all set to go on everything.
So do you feel that the timeline itself of prioritizing this project, is that kind of what you're talking about? Just given the current.
Well, the wastewater treatment plant, we don't have it all got rebid again, and we don't know the amount and what it's going to be, and got the money. This money will have to be used for that, because that's the most important thing. That's the horse, and this is the cart. The cart's in front of the horse. We had that resolved, and for sure, but it's totally up in the air.
So Kip, where's the jet truck right now? Where do we keep the jet truck right now?
At the wastewater treatment plant.
It is there right now? Okay.
Yeah, so, I guess, I don't see it as cart before the horse. We're running two horses side by side on this thing. And the reason that we're doing that, as we've discussed before, one of the first things that's going to happen when this wastewater treatment plant project goes, which we're scheduled to open bids next Thursday on the 21st. So we're not far off time-wise here. But let's remember that one of the first things that's going to happen is the demolition of that garage down there. So as soon as that is demoed, we're fine right now, with parking, if we have to park some vehicles outside on our lot here, things of that nature. But once that October, November, December rolls around, we need space. We need interior space that we can get vehicles in, for that reason, for the winter season, especially with the jet truck, that it's a water, it sucks sewage, and it's got water in it and things like that. So, that's something that we can't leave just sit outside. We need to protect that from freezing. So, and we're starting, I guess I started all of this design, construction, this whole entire project, because, this isn't gonna be it's gonna be up in 6 weeks and, we're ready to go. There's a lot of work that's gotta happen to this thing. We're talking months, put a shed up like that. There's grading that has to be done. We need to worry about when we add something like that, where's all the water going? We can't just, that's all got to be redone. We can't send water over to the neighbor's property. We have to worry about where it's going to go. How are we going to get rid of it? In our parking area, things of that nature. So, there's a lot of work that has to be done to this. Utilities need to be brought in. So that's street work. Where we're gonna have to shut the street down and have to bring the utilities all the way up here and into the site and things like that. So it is gonna be a time-consuming process. And I guess that's why, I was trying to run these two projects, the wastewater treatment plant project and this building side by side, so we don't run into a storage issue at some point.
Hi, this is Mary. Isn't there a cold storage building on the site already? What's being
Yes.
done with that?
That's already being used. That's full.
What's in there?
Trucks, barricades, valves, hoses, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and what's being
Well,
used in
there's 5
the
stalls
attached
there.
garage?
I'm sorry,
Pardon?
somebody, you guys walked over each other.
Go ahead and
Go ahead.
finish, Mary.
What about the garage that's attached to the service center? What's that being used for?
That's all trucks and equipment in here.
How many trucks do you have?
14 employees, so
And
We've
everybody
got-
has a truck?
yeah, pretty much everybody has their own truck, plus all the other equipment, generators, small equipment, our tool cat.
Okay.
Yeah, all
Have
that kind
you
of.
guys looked at either, I don't know if any of the Ward Avenue buildings have been spoken for, or using the old fire station that's already heated and
The fire
has
station-
plumbing? And I
the
know
fire
the city wants to sell that for a parking lot or whatever, but it's a building
Yeah.
that's,
It hasn't been looked at, but I don't even think that would be an option that the city's gonna give it to us. The fire station and the Ward Avenue buildings are full already.
with Public Works.
Owns those.
Well, there's well 8 by One Camp Park. That's a big garage there.
So I was just thinking.
Yeah, I can get about 2 vehicles in there, Pat.
Well, there's some. Well, we've only been at Livingston Street there for 2 years. How did we get by before we had that?
Well, because we don't have wastewater here.
Is there
The
5 or-
wastewater staff is not here. But they will be because of the reconstruction of the wastewater treatment plant.
So
Well, if we
wastewater,
have
the
a
Public Works. Sorry.
Go ahead, Mary.
So the wastewater Public Works garage, it was set up as a Public Works garage way back when. That has 5 or 6 bays?
I don't know what wastewater public works. Are you talking the wastewater treatment
The
plant?
one on the south side of the wastewater treatment plant.
It's got 5 bays currently.
Okay.
And all
There's
but,
5 days at Livingston.
all but one are gonna be deconstructed or tore down.
So will
actually-
any garages be built at the wastewater treatment plant, or will
No.
they all be gone? They're permanently
there's-
gone.
Yeah, we don't have room down there to put any storage
Yeah.
down there. Because all that storage, that's the reason that we're losing the wastewater. The reason that we're losing the garages is because we needed that area, that land in order to make the front of our plant, in order for the plant design to work.
Would the old firehouse work?
Yeah, I mean, for storage, I guess yeah, it would. You know, and let's not, I guess I just want to throw this out there too, that, you know, we bought our current service center knowing that we were gonna have to do the wastewater treatment plant, knowing that wastewater treatment staff was gonna be moving up here. So we knew all that, you know, we've talked about right from the start, you know, the addition of, you know, that we're probably gonna have to put a garage up and things of that nature. You know, we started, one of the biggest reasons that we bought the service center, as I'm sure most of you will remember, was because we wanted everybody under one roof. We wanted to have a utility. We didn't want people showing up all over town, you know, having equipment stored all over town. You know, that's what we had before. You know,
Yeah,
we had 50.
Yeah, but Kip, it's not at all costs.
No, I'm not saying
Not
that,
at-
Kurt. That's why we're having
It's
this
not at all
conversation.
costs.
But that's
I
why
know,
we're having this.
but that's where this has gone. It's like, well, 680. Let's just do it. No, I'm not willing to do that.
I don't think anybody's arguing with you, Kurt, on that. That's why we're having this conversation. You know, we put the plans out, we got the plans back. I think we all agree $680,000 is a lot of money. I don't think anyone's arguing that. But what we're looking for right now, Kurt, is what do we want to do? I need direction. You know, I just can't, we just can't go, well, we'll wait until the wastewater treatment plant is done, and then we'll try to figure out what to do from there. By that time, we're already. So, you know, I'm just looking for direction. That's all I'm looking for. Whatever you guys are the decision makers. So whatever you guys decide is what we'll do.
Any other
You know, if you
comments?
want me to pursue the fire hall, I can definitely get a hold of Mike Johnson, and the mayor, and just kind of see what their thoughts are on it. You know, I mean, I can ask.
Well, I like Mary's thought that between Ward Avenue and the fire hall, we must have a lot of indoor heated storage. If it's one jet truck, big deal.
Be worth looking into. Anybody else have a comment?
Well, my understanding is that Ward Avenue is full. You know, this is one of the issues that we have with Public Works, is that they've got their equipment, you know, vehicles and equipment stored all over the city and spread out. It's very helpful to have everything in one place so that you're not wondering where something is. But the question, and Kurt, you make a good argument, is that worth $684,000?
Well, and under the current economic conditions, which are so uncertain, is the thing.
Yeah, Pat, I agree with you. I mean, our budget is so unknown right now. It is not at all what was budgeted. Sales tax, you know, any tax is so different than we knew it 3 months ago. You know, as far as our rates go, we don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
Well, if we had the bids out on the wastewater treatment plant and that all totally wrapped up, it wouldn't be quite so bad, but that's a real uncertain too. And that's something that we definitely have to have.
Yeah, I agree, Pat.
All right, I'm gonna suggest that we hold off on this until, so we're supposed to have another meeting at the end of the month to discuss the bids for the wastewater treatment plant. We should probably be just talking about these at the same time then. Because without the numbers for the wastewater treatment plant, it would be helpful for us to know how much that's going to cost.
Sure. In the meantime, Kip, that'd be great if you could reach out to the mayor, and let's talk to the people we need to talk to, and let's see if that's even a possibility. for the time being to use the firehouse reward. So let's see if those are options for us. And then let's.
Are you looking at are you looking at purchasing the fire station? Are you looking at?
Let's just see what options we got. Let's take a
renting it?
look. I mean, even for a temporary time to store. I mean, if it's not being used, I mean, if we got to get through the winter or whatever, just I mean, I do agree with Pat as well. You know, seeing where we're at with the water treatment plant as well. I mean, that's going to be a huge expense. You know, and I think everybody brings up a valid point, but we do have some facilities that are heated we can look at. Let's just see what there is. It doesn't hurt to ask the question.
Yep, I can ask.
Yeah, let's check that out, and then we can all come back to this at the end of the month, like Joyce suggested as well. Does anybody else have any other further comment?
Well, Kip asked whether he should be asking about renting or buying, and I think you should be asking about both because we don't know what we're going to need long term. If we end up,
Yeah, Joyce,
having this
I
built?
agree. I think we should be looking at using. I don't think we should be looking at buying. I mean, we all know that the development of Hudson is going to include that facility. I mean, you know, the old fire department.
Yeah.
well,
I
and
think
the
it'd be-
other,
Go ahead.
I'm
Joyce.
sorry, Kurt. No, go ahead, Kurt. Finish. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that that's a permanent fix, but I think it's a temporary fix. And I think it would be a waste, honestly, of assets for the entire city, not just our department, to have that as a storage facility for one jet truck. But I think for the time being, it could be a viable resource.
The other thing that I was going to bring up is that there are a lot of repairs that need to be made on the fire station. So that would be something that, so temporarily, using it temporarily would be probably be viable, but yeah, using it permanently would be costly. So that would be another question to ask would be, what would it cost to make this permanent?
Sure.
Between repairs and the purchase. So yeah, it's a big question. And I know, Kurt, that we need to look at it in the overall picture of what's best for Hudson and for that whole block.
Yeah. I think the
Which hasn't
development
been
of Hudson
decided yet.
includes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But it most certainly, I would imagine everyone could agree that it doesn't include the storage of
Sure.
and nothing against sewer trucks. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that
We're kind of losing you a little bit, Kurt. It's kind of getting spotty and going in and out. I'm having a tough time hearing everything.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's
Northern
okay.
Wisconsin. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's all right. You know, I think we got kind of the direction we want to go on this just for now, Kip. Let's ask the questions and then we can kind of reconvene on this. But I'm glad that everyone kind of came together. Mary, appreciate the suggestion. So let's if anyone doesn't have anything else to say, let's move on. Any last comments on this before we go? Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to number 4, discussion and possible action on the quarterly report. You guys should all have that Jace sent out. Looks pretty standard.
We do need a motion to place that on file and to forward it to the Common Council.
Okay,
So moved.
got a second?
Second.
Dave, seconds, all in favor?
I
I
had a question or two.
You have a comment on that, Mary?
Yeah, sorry, I had a couple of questions. The lead and copper service sampling, has that gotten a go-ahead yet because of COVID-19, or we're still not happening?
So lead and copper service survey, that's a yearly, we do that throughout the year. So it's still
Okay. I
ongoing.
just didn't know. Sorry.
It's okay.
I just didn't know if you wanted to add, because this is a little different and it's being delayed this year.
Our lead and copper service sampling is not being delayed this year, no.
Oh, well, when I called, I was told it is. Because I received a letter. That's the only
Alright.
reason I asked. Okay,
Well, it depends. We're still doing our lead and copper sampling as we do every year
okay.
in our homes, or in the homes and things of that nature, so.
Okay.
Other questions, comments on the quarterly report?
How far are we away on the PSC annual report?
We're putting that, gathering all that information right now. That's actually has been pushed. Jace, do you remember when is that due again now?
June 1st.
June 1st. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Thanks, Mary. Any other comments or questions from anyone else? Okay. I believe we had a motion from Joyce and a second motion from Dave, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Quarterly report, motion carries. Thank you. Going on to number 5, discussion and possible action on scheduling meeting for May 26, 2020 for WWTP rehab project bids. Yep.
Okay, so what I'm looking is, I'd like to do a meeting on May 26th. We're opening on May 21st, the wastewater treatment plant bid opening is at 2:00 on the 21st. I'm thinking the 26th, obviously Memorial Day. That gives SEH about a day, 2 days to go through the numbers. And with a project this size, that's really going to be pushing them hard. To go through the numbers, make sure everything is, that they added everything up, that they didn't miss some big chunk of something as they go through and check that, and then have them put together obviously a recommendation and, a bid tabulation sheet. But I'd like it to go on the 26th because you guys would be making a recommendation to City Council on the proposals. And I need to have it to the city clerk by, I think it's either the 27th or 28th. So it gets on the June 1st council agenda. So that's why we can't wait until, otherwise it's going to delay it even another month. So that's kind of why I'm asking if you guys if we can do a special meeting just on the 26th to discuss the wastewater treatment plant bids.
Does that work does anybody have, obviously with Memorial, but we got COVID right now. So does anybody have any conflicts that might not make that work?
And if
6
you guys
p.m.
want to 6, 5, 4, doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. We don't need any, do you need a motion for any of this?
No, but let's pick a time. Do you just want to do 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock would work for me. Otherwise, we'd have to do it earlier in the day because I've got things going from 3:30 till about 5:30.
6 p.m. works for me as well.
Is there anybody that it doesn't work?
6 p.m. for me as well.
Okay. So I will just send I'll send a Zoom invite out to everybody for May 26th at 6 p.m.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kip. Moving on to number 6, project updates, project status report.
Let's see, the cross connection inspection program obviously isn't going anywhere right now. We can't get in homes for obvious reasons. The State Highway 35 project, I believe the city did go with that, right, Joyce? Correct me
Yes.
if I'm wrong. So the city did approve the State Highway 35 project with the state of Wisconsin. So that'll be moving forward now for 2021. We talked about the wastewater treatment plant, kind of where we're at with that. Storage building we discussed, and Wisconsin Street Tower project. I'll be having our pre-con meeting next week on the Wisconsin Street Tower. So we'll be meeting with the contractor on that, just kind of going through, what we're expecting, different things like that, timeframes, times that they can work, just answering any of their questions that they had. And then I believe they're scheduled to be starting about a month from now. So the middle of June, they should be coming in to get going on the rehab of Wisconsin Street. So, and you might have seen some work up there already if you've driven by. They're starting to, they constructed the temporary pole because the communications that are up there have to be removed and then put up on a temporary pole. So that's kind of work is being done right now. So that's about it.
Questions, comments? Okay. Moving on, number 7. Other business for information purposes only or for upcoming agenda?
I'm gonna make some phone calls on that storage thing. I'll just push that off for now. We do have, I just checked here about a half hour ago, we have 8 prime bidders that took out plan sets and in specs for the wastewater treatment plant. So that's a good thing, but let's not get our hopes up because the first time around we had 9 and we only got 2. But it's looking a lot better. Just talking to a lot of the contractors, things of that nature. They've been making appointments to actually tour the treatment plant, taking pictures, doing drone videos, so they know what they're after and what they're actually bidding on. So I guess we're optimistic that we're going to get more than 2 this time, and let's hope that the numbers are where we're hoping that they're going to be. So, but like I said, we'll know more about that on the 21st of May.
Great.
Other than that, we are back to full staff with all the staffing. We're kind of working at the water guys. I've got them kind of spread all over town, showing up different places, things like that, just trying to keep separation, trying to keep staff separated as much as we can, just in case something would happen where, if one of them gets something, we're not going to infect the whole utility. The wastewater staff are doing a split where some are showing up at, half of them are showing up at 6:30. The other half show up at 7 o'clock just to try to eliminate any contact that they might have in the morning or, when they're leaving in the afternoon. So, we're moving forward on hydrant flushing. We're moving forward on valve turning, all that kind of stuff. It's a busy time for us right now. A lot of construction going on, obviously with Bella Rose, things like that. So we're busy, that's for sure.
Any other comments, questions?
I was just wondering what the status is of the municipal dam grant application. Are we still on track for the May 21st?
Yeah, I actually just sent in, they had requested some more information. They had requested some new, I'm drawing a blank. Some new resolutions.
Yes.
That all the parties had to redraw. The first resolution that we did, we had specific language in there on costs, and the state did not like that. So we actually had those. So all the entities that are involved in that dam have done the new resolutions. They got them back to me, and I actually sent everything down to the state yesterday. So we met the deadline was the May 22nd to get everything in. So they should have all the information. Now it's just sit and wait, and we'll see where we score, and hopefully get some grant money out of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Number 8, sewer utility and water utility cash reports.
Everybody should have them in their packets. Everything is current through April, so you can kind of see where we're at with additions, deductions.
Tough to see those huge deficits in cash.
You know, one thing that you'll always notice is obviously the spring of the year. You know, that's when all the projects get going. That's when we get all of our engineering costs going, things of that. You know, especially on the sewer side, you're seeing a lot of cash going out. Now, let's remember, you know, we are paying SEH for the wastewater treatment plant design, and things of that nature. But all of those costs, the engineering costs and things, we would get reimbursed for in our clean water fund loan type things. So, you know, we are pushing cash out right now, kind of fronting the money until the clean water fund loan goes through once we do the wastewater treatment plant. So
Okay.
spring's always a
Costly month.
Yeah.
Time of year. Yeah.
costly quarter.
Yeah.
And a lot of it just depends on, you know, bills just went out. And that always makes a huge difference too.
Anybody have any more questions or comments on the utility cash reports? Okay, so we need a motion on this.
No, not the cash reports.
Number 9, discussion and possible action on claims.
We do need a motion.
Move to approve?
Second. Dave, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Number 10, got adjournment. Got a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Dave,
Second.
thank you. Joyce, seconds. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.